that's a win. You're feeling really confident. Like I'm top of my game. And so one of the things I often say at that point is, what do you do next? And I'll ask a room full of folks when I'm out going around the world speaking, and they'll say things like, celebrate. I'm like, no, don't celebrate. Make another call. They're going to feel that amazing energy through the phone, or if you're face to face, that next meeting, and take advantage of that, and then do it again and again. And at the end of the day, celebrate, because you want to capitalize on that moment of a high and the moment of when you have that extra energy, and you want to make sure that you're maximizing that. And the way to do it is to sort of keep going.
Are you confident? Do you have consistency? How much conviction do you have? I'm Daniel Gomez, the Confidence Architect, a business strategist, keynote speaker, executive coach, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you unlock confidence to create consistency and develop conviction. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence. Welcome to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. We have an amazing guest this week. I am so excited, man. This guy is super amazing. And I'll tell you why he's super amazing. I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Alec Stern, America's startup expert, last year at Tag Talks. And let me tell you, he blew me away. And he blew me away because you don't meet too many people of his caliber that just really are genuine, loving, and just make a first impression like he did. Let me explain. We got to this hotel and we were there. It was late. I live in San Antonio. We flew to California. He flew in from Boston, and he goes, hey, let's go grab a bite. So a couple of us went to go grab a bite, and just the generosity of this gentleman. And I had never met him before prior to this time at all. And as we were leaving, he goes, don't worry about the bill. I'll take the bill. But just the way he said it, the way he framed his words it touched my heart. And since that day, man, I said, well, however I can serve you, Alec, let me know. And man, it's been amazing. Welcome to the show. How you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing great. And I mean, it was a funny situation because actually you had already had dinner. You and Tom had already had dinner, and I was like, "Is there a place close by?" And then you said, "Well, we ate at this place, just off to the side of the hotel over there." And so I said, "Oh, okay, sounds good." And you were like, "Are you going over there alone?" I am. I said, "Do you want company?" So it was even more of of an amazing moment for you to say, "Okay, we've just been there. We now are coming back, and we're going to go back with you." And so, having not met any of us, now the three of us are, band of brothers here, and it was a great kickoff to an amazing event. And of course, we got to share the stage together, and it was great.
Yeah, well, that was just an amazing time that we had. I wanted talking about the event. This guy, Alec Stern, he is just not. We're going to go into some business traits that he's going to give away, some amazing just tips and gold nuggets. But dude, Alec, you're like, dude. When I saw you up there on stage, so we're on this stage. Let me paint the picture for the audience here, because of course this is on the podcast. We're there, and we walk into the stadium, the auditorium. It's amazing. And then right off to the side of the right, walking into it, you see a drum set on stage. And then Alec goes, hey, you know what? You have some drumsticks? And I thought he was kidding. So next thing you know, I turn around, and he's like up there on getting settled in. And I thought about, somebody that I idolized when I was a young kid. I used to Kiss a lot. And Peter Criss was an amazing drummer. I'll never forget. He had one of the most just dynamic drum sets there was. And then Alec got up there and started just boom, 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 boom. I was like, where did you learn how to play those drums like that, Alec? I want to know that, man.
Yeah, that was actually a lot of fun. And the best part was that they're doing all the sound checking, and they were doing all the walk-on music. And so I was just sitting on that. They were gracious enough to let me take some sticks, which were backstage, because they didn't want anyone going up and doing what I did. And so, as they were playing music, I got to jam along, which was a lot of fun. And certainly as a warm-up to speaking at an event, it was great. It all started back when I was 8. I began, we had garbage can lids that I was beating, and those were dented in. And then I moved to pots and pans. And then my mom loved it because she always wanted to let the creative juices flow, and my dad hated it. But we were at a flea market, and there was an antique Ludwig drum set that someone was selling, and they had a fight over it. But I just know my mom always won. She said, "We're buying him this drum set. No more beating the pots and pans in the kitchen." So I set up a drum set, and I started playing the music, and then eventually took lessons. And to this day, it's one of my favorite passions, and fortunate to know a lot of musicians, so I get to jump up on stage around the country as I go and speak and have some fun with it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So what's the total years that you've been playing?
Well, now you're going to date myself here, but 50 years.
50 years. Well, the ironic thing is, I admired you because when I was 12 years old, here in San Antonio, when you go into middle school, there's not a lot of electives that you can take in sixth grade. You either take art, you take band, and you take there was some other class that wasn't even an option. So I took band, and when I took band, I wanted to play the drums, but I got stuck playing the bass drum. So needless to say, my career as a drummer was short-lived because I played the bass, I think, for like 2 years, and then finally, you kind of either do sports or you do band. And when I went to seventh grade, I said, "Oh, you know what? I think it's cooler to play football." So I did that, but my career as a drummer was short-lived.
Well, there's an old joke that the band's doing a radio show and being interviewed, and the host said, "So how many members are there in the band?" And they're like, 4 members and a drummer. So we don't get a lot of respect, but it was a lot of fun, and I ended up playing sports as well, but always kept the drumming going, and it was always my sort of outlet, and kind of that runner's high. When I especially when I get to jump up on stage. I've jumped up on stage in a lot of different cities, Reno and Las Vegas and other places, to jump in with other bands of folks that I know, and it's just so. I just get so energized with it and love it. So.
Man, well, the thing is, you're good, man. I mean, I'm not even kidding. This guy, Alex Stern, he's a hell of a businessman, but he's a hell of a drummer. Let me tell you that. Let me ask you this: how did? Because I want to talk a little bit about building up confidence in your business and in your life today. If somebody out there, maybe you're an amazing drummer. Say somebody wants to start off doing, whether it's drumming or something in business. What's a tip of advice, Alec, that you could give, and just how to build up your confidence?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of ways that confidence gets built. I think, and there's also a lot of ways that it gets knocked down. And so I think I'd start with one thing that, to me, a no means not now. So when someone says no to me, it's not now. It's like, okay, we may not partner together, or they may not want to be a customer today. I hear that as not now. And so I would always kind of cultivate the relationship, and eventually a lot of those no's turn to yeses. And I think oftentimes we would take those no's and get deflated, and then that's part that sort of becomes part of our energy. And so it's self-fulfilling. If you're in fact feeling down, or you're feeling negative, or you don't really have that inner energy, or you're hesitant, or whatever it may be, that's going to stop you from moving forward. And so if you don't, if you try not to take those no's negatively, and just understand that there'll be a point in time when I'm sure we'll work together, and then it doesn't get you losing that sort of the confidence that you already have. And the best way to build it up is to go out and have success. And so, set very small goals, and so you can have wins quickly. A lot of times we have this 5-year vision that we're going to grow this company to something crazy large, and maybe even go public or get acquired. Well, what are you doing today and all day that's getting you closer and closer to that vision and that goal? And so if you, in fact, can spend time working through hitting those goals and ringing a bell or celebrating and just giving building up your confidence in having success.
I love that. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take notes to our viewing audience. Take notes. Alex Stern right now, if you don't know who this gentleman is, and he is an amazing individual, like I started off with, but he is the owner. He was partner in the Constant Contact. He sold this business for over $1 billion. Let me say that again, for over $1 billion. So whatever words of wisdom he's giving us on this show, first of all, thank you, Alec. But ladies and gentlemen, take notes. I highly encourage you to take notes. So talking about, I like that, right? So no means not now. I think you said something that's huge right there, because for myself, I can tell you when I started in business many years ago, I would take them personal. And somebody would say, for instance, say if I met you and I said, hey, Alec, why don't we, try to do this, collaborate on some stuff? And you would say, well, nah, you know what? It's not a good time. No, pretty much is what you're saying. I would have taken that personal. And the ironic thing about that is that I would soak in that probably for like a day or two, and it would kill my productivity. But I like the way you're approaching it. Is when you say not now, it doesn't mean that the situation is bad or just it's not a good timing, because maybe it just isn't. And what I realize is when you do that, there's always another client or another opportunity down the road. When if you respond the right way, Alec, it's like seems like the door from the universe opened up, and there's a bigger client or a bigger collaboration that's waiting down the road. Has that happened to you? Do you think?
Yeah, so for sure, and I think you kind of get the flywheel of this going, right? So when you do something and it builds your confidence, and that could be something as quick as calling somebody to talk about business, and they say, we're interested. Why don't you come in for a meeting, or let's follow on with the team and talk about it. That's a win. You're feeling really confident. Like I'm top of my game. And so one of the things I often say at that point is, what do you do next? And I'll ask a room full of folks when I'm out going around the world speaking, and they'll say things like, celebrate. I'm like, no, don't celebrate. Make another call. They're going to feel that amazing energy through the phone, or if you're face to face, that next meeting, and take advantage of that, and then do it again and again. And at the end of the day, celebrate, because you want to capitalize on that moment of a high, and the moment of when you have that extra energy, and you want to make sure that you're maximizing that. And the way to do it is to sort of keep going.
I love that. So great minds think alike. I love what he said, because I come from the car business, and I spent almost 2 decades in the car business, actually 18 years. And when I was in the car business, we had a saying when I would train the sales force and train just the staff, whether it was parts or whatever department it was, it's like, hey, the best time to sell a car is right after you sold a car. The best time to sell an engine and service is right after you sold an engine job. It's like you gotta follow up with those people, because I think most people miss a golden nugget you just dropped. Customers, people can feel your energy through the phone. Tell us a little bit about that, because I think most people, they sit down, right? And I myself, I just bought me a desk riser for my desk, and I bought me a new high chair, because you have more energy when you stand up. That's just me personally. But I think for me, I do it because it creates more energy, more momentum through the phone systems. And right now, of course, we're here in quarantine, but I really want to hit people to feel my energy through the phone. And what's a tidbit of advice that you can give right now if somebody's making calls? Because you're exactly 100% right. People can feel your energy. And what's the biggest error that you've heard people making calls that they do wrong? Give us a golden nugget on that. And then what's one thing that you can do to definitely just radiate that power to the phone, Alec?
Sure. Yeah. Happy to do that. And so the first thing I would say is that, when you're ready to are you ready to make the call? When you're going to pick up that phone, are you ready? And odds are, if it's a real important client, or it's someone you really want to work with strategically, or might be that key investor, that key mentor, I'll ask a room full of people, how many have someone in your life where you're hesitant to want to call them, and you're holding off, and every hand goes up. So there's always somebody that we want to sort of pick up the phone. We ask for the reasons, we make excuses. We're not ready. We have to work on the product a bit more, or we got to fix the website, or we got to do this, we got to do that, and we're hesitant to do it. And so if you're feeling hesitant, and then of course when you go and make those calls, you're not going to have the success. I give you the example of let's just say a friend just had a newborn, and they come over and meet the baby, and you go over to the house, and they're like, hold the baby, and you're like, oh, here we go, and you take the baby, and if you're hesitant, that baby's going to cry. Right. And so if you're excited and they can feel your energy, they're going to feel that warmth. They're going to stay in your arms for an hour and then when they do cry, you give them back to the parents. But the point is that you want to make sure that that energy is flowing through. And so I find that oftentimes people will start to make calls, or the first thing they think is, God, this is the last thing I want to do is pick up the phone and start calling people. Yeah, and then they go and make the calls. Like, you have to get yourself fired up. And so when I call a loved one, hold a baby, pet a dog, or sing to your favorite song. My go-to is Journey's "Don't Stop Believing," and oftentimes at conferences when I mention this, they put it on and make me sing it. We won't be doing karaoke today, but you sing your favorite song. I just got the chills, because you get fired up, you get excited, and then you pick up that phone and you make the call. And so don't make the mistake of doing something that you want to, that you need to do or want to do, but you're not ready to. So make sure you've set yourself up for success in making that call. And back to the point about hesitating to call that one key person. Make that call to that key person. Get fired up and make that call to the key person. Let's just say it's a strategic partnership. In the end, if it's really big and really strategic, it's going to take 9 months to a year before you're going to close that partnership. So what are you going to do? You're going to say, I'm going to wait. So you wait 6 months, you wait 9, you wait a year. Now you say, I'm going to pick up the phone and call them. Now you're going to wait another year till you close the partnership. Don't hesitate. These things take time. You're not going to be all buttoned up and perfect, especially if you're a startup. That's cool. But if you can get on the phone and they can feel your energy and you can win them over, and then the thing to do at that point, that's sort of what you asked me what to do if you're making a call to be successful. Create a small slide deck, maybe 5 slides. Who we are, what we do, what makes us unique, what are our current customers saying, even if we only have 1 or 2, and how can we potentially work together. And when you get on that call, you do a screen share and you say, listen, I threw a couple of slides together. I'd love it if I could go over those, to kick off the call. Always say yes. So now you put your best foot forward. You're branded, you look professional. It looks like it's not your first call. And then when you have success finishing that call, you send them a PDF of that so they can refer to it or share it. So you're not playing the telephone game where they're trying to remember what you said. They tell others and not clear what you're saying. And they say, oh, we don't need that. And so then there's a follow-on call with the team. And you ask, I know we sent over the deck. Maybe some of you saw it, but let's level. But I just want to kind of level the playing field here. Maybe I could kick off this call with the slide deck. And again, you're professional. You're owning that call. So there are things you can do to just step it up a little bit more than what everyone does today, and not just get on the phone and talk.
Well, I think it's crucial because something that you said is very important. Is what you're saying is most of us, we never build up that momentum either. We don't build up that momentum. And we just expect to come and boom, make it happen. It doesn't work that way. No matter what you're doing, you got to plant small seeds in business. And as you plant small seeds in business, you're watering them. And that's what Alec is saying. If you wait for the perfect time and you never take any action throughout that process, then you're going to have to wait even longer. Because one thing I can tell you that doesn't work in business, Alec, is instant gratification hardly ever happens. If you're looking for an instant gratification, instant return, for those quality clients or those quality collaborations or partnerships that you want, you have to, like Alex said, one step at a time. And the longer you wait, then you're going to draw out the process. So start now and ask yourself, what's the one thing or 2 things that I can do today to start working towards that partnership, that collaboration, or even getting that new client? We want everything to be perfect. And like Alex said, things don't have to be perfect, but you do have to start somewhere. So start today. And once you get those big win, once you get that small win, well, then you get another small win. Well, then that builds up your confidence, like Alex said, and you got to make that next phone call again or go visit that client again, because a body in motion stays in motion. And when you have momentum going forward, like you said, the best time to call another client and to make a sale is right after you made that sale. So I love that, Alec. I love that. Let me ask you this. In what area of your life would you say that you're most confident?
Let's see, most confident. It transcends into a lot of areas, and it's just from just personal and professional success, I guess. And so, getting up on stage, I'd say, and speaking is one of them, because I'm paying it forward in a lot of cases. Want to raise the water level of startups, entrepreneurs, and small businesses, and want to empower them with some stuff that from my past and experiences. I've been a co-founder or the founding team of 8 companies, and I've had 5 exits, a couple IPOs, and 3 acquisitions. So it's repeatable, and so I've been able to take a lot of sort of the early days lessons learned, which is a lot of what I'll talk about when I'm doing lives and certainly now virtual interviews and stuff. And so getting up and being able to sort of tell that story, I'm confident in that it's my experience, and experiences that I've had or others that I've seen, but it's really just the confidence in knowing that I'll deliver something to that audience where they're going to walk away and feel that they've got something out of it that they can put into practice tomorrow or today if they're going back to the office, and be able to start to maybe shift kind of the direction that they're going, shift their mindset or something that will get them to work toward accelerating what they're doing today.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. And I know we know you. As a matter of fact, I use the product you created. I use it every day, Constant Contact. And that was just an amazing just accomplishment as you exited that. Like I mentioned, it made you were very successful with that. And what's talking about Constant Contact, I mentioned that because that's a well-known brand. And I want to associate you with that brand because you are that brand. You created Constant Contact. What was one of the most challenging moments that you had in creating that brand, Constant Contact, that you wanted to give up, and you were so close to saying, "Man, maybe this isn't going to work." And what did you learn about yourself to do that?
Yeah, sure. I just want to kind of just state something about the sort of that journey real quick. So Constant Contact was an overnight success in 18 years.
18 years?
Yeah, it was 18 years. We started 3 of us in an attic, so there were 3 co-founders in an attic, and then the creation of Constant Contact. When we went public at year 10, and then we sold at year 18, as you mentioned, for 1.1 billion. And we had 1,500 people when we sold. We had about 8,000 partners that were promoting and marketing or co-branding us, referring us, etc. We had 750,000 paying customers, and it was roughly 450 million in revenue. So the success of that company was on the backs of those 1,500. So it's not anything I will sit here and take personal credit for. It really was a collective effort. But in the early days when there were the 3 of us in the attic, we were working in different companies prior. I was helping small businesses in other ways. And then, the original founder, Randy and I, and then there was Margaret, who was our software architect. We wanted to move to the front and help small businesses or very small businesses on Main Street around the world. We wanted to level the playing field for them against the big competitors that were out there. Amazon and others had enterprise tools. They had technical and marketing resources. They had agencies. They had it all, where the small business on Main Street didn't have anything. And so we wanted to level the playing field for the small businesses against those big competitors and create a self-service, easy-to-use tool, which everyone today gets to still enjoy. And the anchor part of the offering was email marketing at the time. Now it's a digital marketing suite. But we wanted to make sure that they didn't have to know things. They didn't have to be technical or worry about sort of the back end. All they had to do is know what do they want to say, when did they want to send it, and whom do they want to send it to. That was it. You could brand it, you can make it look good, you get all your tracking and reporting when you hit send, and so for us, we were certainly trailblazing and being the first to offer it, and we ended up getting in that pole position and staying there because we stayed ahead of probably today there's 80 to 100 companies that would be considered sort of competitive to what we did. But when I'll say this. You made a comment, and it is very easy to use. So I want to say it. And sometimes I think we overcomplicate the product or services that we're delivering to consumers. And if you're overcomplicating your service or your product that you're delivering to your end user, your end customer, you're not going to be as efficient. You're not going to be as effective. Make it simple, and it goes to the genius of Alec and his team, right? I want to say that. I want to recognize what you said also too, and that is Alec, a true leader, like Alec just said, it wasn't just him. It was him and 1,500 employees, I believe is what you said, right, Alec? Yes.
And 1,500 employees. So it takes a team. You can't have a Mount Everest championship win without a Mount Everest team. And I can tell you that Alec Stern developed a team, created a team, built on a team, because a true leader knows that he can't do it by himself. And I think many times, whether you're a small business owner or you're the VP of a certain department in a Fortune 500, you think it's all you. And when your ego gets in the way, you're not going to be as successful as you can, because you're going to be the bottleneck for that organization. You're going to be the bottleneck for your small business. And I just want to give you applause. I want to just give you recognition for that, Alec, because it takes an amazing individual to say, it wasn't me. It was me with my 1,500 employees. So I want to thank you for that, for being honest. And I think many people can learn watching this, because I think too many times when you're in business, you think you're the one doing it. I know I went through that mistake when I was younger in business. I thought it was just Daniel Gomez, and the reality it's not. It's not just one person, because there's not greatness. There's no. It goes back to that saying, there's no I in team. So I think you're 100% correct.
And I would just go one step further. And so from the earliest days, we agreed that we were going to be title agnostic. So we didn't care what our title was, and whatever it took to succeed. And that meant bringing in an executive team that ran the business, and that evolved over time. So it's not about me. It's about the fact that we just surrounded ourselves with the best people that we could that could take this thing forward. And so,
I love that. What did you say? Say that again. Title agnostic. Tell me about that. I want to focus on that.
Yeah. So I've started several businesses, and there's sometimes you'll see a situation where let's say there are three co-founders, and they're like, well, we're all co-CEOs, and it's because, and I said, well, okay, if one day someone said, which one of you will be the actual CEO, and you others take other roles, who will that be? And they're like, well, they're not sure, or it's just got to be an issue later. That's a red flag for me, because like in that group, there might be someone who's like the head of development. There might be someone who's like head of like a COO style person, or it might be someone who's maybe more the CEO, or maybe head of sales and marketing, or everyone has a lane that they're in. And so we have to acknowledge and say that we stay in our lane. And it doesn't matter what your title is. So I wasn't going to sit there. At times, I would talk myself out of the current position that I had. Other people would come in, run it, take it over. I would create something and build it up, put a team on it, get off it. So I was moved from having no direct reports to many direct reports to no direct reports, and talking myself out of my job, on a regular basis, to go look for new things. And because my lane was innovating, creating, finding new pockets of opportunity, and taking sort of a vision of something and testing it, and then building it into something that we would put folks on. And so I didn't need to be the CEO or the president or any of those. I didn't need those titles. When I say title agnostic, at some point in time, you're going to need to bring in folks to round out the management team, or take over and run be the management team, and everyone go into their lanes where they're best. And a lot of times people won't do that, or they're like, look, I'm the CEO, and I said, well, if you were going to get an investment, and they said, we want to bring in a seasoned person, a veteran, adult supervision, whatever you want to call it, that could step in and be CEO, would you move aside? And I have many will say, no, they can be president, but I want to stay CEO, or vice versa, or whatever it may be. And my point is that being title agnostic, just says that you are confident enough in yourself to be able to excel in your lane, and would look at that as an opportunity to bring in like someone who could actually take this and really drive it forward with success, do some of the things that maybe are out of your comfort zone or whatever it may be, and they've experienced it before, been there, done that, and you can stay in your lane and excel with what you're best at. And so it has to be a conscious thing that people feel. And I just see in a lot of situations, people are worried about that. If it's ego, or if it's politics, or it's whatever, if I'm not this title, then, then people won't respect me, or this, that, or that. None of that matters. Bottom line is, if if you want to move forward and you want to have success, you have to be open to what's going to come with that. And some of it is bringing in others to take over who have more experience, or you can divide and conquer better because your lane is something else than that title.
Yeah. So what's the biggest? I know in life right now, I just did a live this morning myself, and something that I talked about is you can't have a testimony without a test. And right now we're all being tested, and I believe that when we this season that the whole world is going through, it's kind of revealing what your core beliefs are, what you value in life, and just who you are. Right, the man in your mirror is going to come out. And it's like when you're looking at that person in the mirror, who really is Daniel Gomez? Who is Alex? Or who is whoever's listening to this show right now? Because those tests are going to help you to realize things that you need to change and things that you need to just really develop within yourself. So what's one test that stands out in Constant Contact when you were building this up, or even maybe after towards the latter years when you said, I don't know if you mentioned 18 years overnight success. What was one test that you'll never forget that you went through Constant Contact, Alec?
Yeah, so if you don't mind, I just want to take a moment on sort of obstacles and tests as you refer to them. They start very early in the cycle, and so they're gonna test whoever this is to say, do you have the fortitude to go on, or are you gonna want to just take your lunchbox and go home? The bottom line is, those obstacles start, and they start early, and the way we normally handle it, at least I did, was that I would come into the office and I'd take an empty piece of paper and I'd put on the first line the obstacle, put a little box to the left of it, and hope I could check it when I knock that obstacle down. And of course, it doesn't go down that day because I get tied up with a million other things. And then I put it on the piece of paper the next day, and maybe the next day, and it sort of sits there. And this thing weighs on you, and eventually these obstacles in general could be the reason why you fail or you pack up and you go home. So you have to develop a technique to deal with any obstacle, big or small. And I would just say to you that when they start early, you're not, first of all, whatever that obstacle is, you're not the first one to experience it. Mm-hmm. Someone else has experienced it before. Go seek out the people that have solved it, that failed at solving it, and learn if there's a way to break it down and chunk it up and solve pieces of it to get it out of the way. And this is creating a muscle memory to deal with obstacles and challenges. When you're getting tested, how do you deal with it? Because when you knock that one down, I guarantee you the one behind it's bigger. You have the muscle memory and you can deal with it. You knock that one down, and guess what? The one behind that is bigger. So there's no kind of one defining moment of an obstacle when you're starting a company and going through all the evolution of, and a lot of firsts for you and possibly the team. And when you're kind of going through it. But how do you and your team, deal with those? And so we had many, and those are the things that usually will block somebody from going to the next level, or would be the reason why somebody will kind of pack it in and want to go home.
Yeah, well, I think our audience needs to understand that obstacles are a positive thing in life and in your business. And I think when you start seeing obstacles as an opportunity, it opens up and it shifts your thinking. And Alex said, talking about, we got to shift our mindset. We got to shift our thinking. Well, you need to start seeing obstacles as a positive, because obstacles give you the opportunity to reveal your intelligence. Obstacles give you an opportunity to show your competency. And then when you show off your competency, it just really shows the people around you. Maybe you're that employee. It shows your leader, man, I can trust this guy. I can trust this gal. Like, there's somebody that I can lean on in crunch time, because when adversity hits, hey, they're going to be my go-to guy. And obstacles also just give you an opportunity to grow, like Alex said, because no matter how big the obstacle, my wife has a saying, and I kind of borrowed this from her. I don't know where she got it from, but it says, are you going to make that obstacle your stepping stone, or is that obstacle in your life going to be your tombstone? And I think so many of us, we take that obstacle and it becomes our tombstone, when in reality, we need to make that obstacle, boom, our stepping stone, because there's always another level to go out there. There's always another level. And you're just dropping some golden nuggets. I wasn't prepared for all this, man. I'm pumped up. I think I'm going to go run another 2 miles after this.
Well, give me 4. I want 4 miles. Don't settle.
Yeah. Well, you know what I love about you, though? I I think so many of us, we reach a level of success. And after we reach that level of success, let's face it, I've been there in right now in the business that I'm in. We get lazy, we get complacent. And I say that because I'll never forget coming out of the automotive business. I was pretty successful. And then when I started my career in speaking and just traveling the world and coaching, it's like all of a sudden it kind of spiked. And I was my own hindrance. I got comfortable because I started making the same income that I was making in the car business. And then I just kind of was on cruise control. I can honestly tell you for about maybe 3 or 4 months, and I had to catch myself and wake myself up. But I say that because I love the fact that you sold your corporation, very successful, and like you don't stop. And I say that because too many people, they live for retirement. They live for those golden years. And I think you and I might remember this great gentleman. He was a coach that I studied, Bear Bryant. And Bear Bryant was the most winningest coach in NCAA history until, of course, Alabama came around this decade. But the sad part about it, as successful as Bear Bryant was, like a couple of years after he retired, he passed away because he lost his purpose. He lost his drive. And the reason I say that is because I want to ask you, I see you've exited out of Constant Contact, very successful. You're doing more things. What keeps you just with your purpose, right? Because I see you as a person, Alec, that's always progressing and not regressing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so yeah, I appreciate that. And as I said, I've had other exits besides Constant Contact, and there's been points in time in my life where I take a little time off and test the waters on maybe early retirement or take extended leaves, and within 6 months I just wanted to get back at it. And what drives me is less about let me just say what drives me is more about they're looking for I'm an idea person, and I love to look at markets that are large, that haven't been disrupted or changed in a long time, and which is or it's a product or service that's being delivered that it could be done better, or occasionally you're lucky to find one where it wasn't done before, like we did with Constant Contact, or you see with Uber and Airbnb and Facebook and so on. So there are pockets of opportunity for us to go out, and so I'm always thinking, I'm always kicking around ideas, and have now gone on to co-found several things since Constant Contact, a couple prior, but mostly after, because I have a drive and really love taking an idea, taking a vision, putting out into market, building that go-to-market and the brand, and getting it out there. And then, sort of with the hope in mind that it will lead to something where we can grow it to a point and sell it, or turn it into a viable business. After you prototype fit, whatever it may be, a software app or a product or so on. So I'm driven by kind of having sort of a creative mind and a vision to want to make make a difference, and so. While they sort of someone said, and I've heard, don't know who I can give credit to, but no one said on their deathbed they wish they worked harder, right? And I probably could even say no one, I bet everyone probably said they wish they worked smarter. There's a lot of opportunity for us to figure out the work-life balance and figure out what we can do. And when you're starting something, anyone who's out there who's starting a business, you feel the weight of the world on you, and you've got so much to do, and yet so little time and so little resources, and no money, and no this and no that. A lot more no's than what probably more no's than what you do have, but which is the case with every startup. But I think you just gotta get into the rhythm of working smarter, and so for me, it's just I'm driven by creating new things and having the vision to do some exciting things with, kind of changing what's in existence today, or creating something new.
Awesome, man. So do you ever see yourself retiring? I asked that because I don't see you retiring anytime soon. So do you ever see yourself retiring? And if so, would you ride into the sunset, or what would you do?
Well, first of all, it's not. if you think about something a lot, and then it starts to become a visualization, and then it becomes a reality. So I don't think about retiring.
Good.
It's not in the cards. It's not in the cards for a while. And I wouldn't ride into the sunset. I think I'd sail into the sunset. But yeah. So I mean, listen, I like anyone else likes to knock off and have some fun. And right now I'm just driven as I've always been with looking to create new things. So it's not anything I'm really thinking about at the moment.
Yeah, you can, because as a matter of fact, we're going to have this amazing young gentleman right here next year, 2021, March 5th. Alec Stern is going to be our keynote speaker for our business accelerator here in San Antonio, Texas. And we're honored to have you. He's going to come in. He's going to I might even have a drum set there for you, Alec, because, man, I'm just excited. When you accepted our invitation, man, to come and be our keynote speaker March 5th here in San Antonio for our business accelerator conference, I just wow. I'm going to say, honey, maybe we can't go buy one, but we're going to go rent one for him because I want him to jam out. And they're like, you know what? That's a great idea. I'm going to see if I'm going to really try to make that happen for you. I think that'll be a nice little twist of an icebreaker just for business, because I think so many people, and just really we niche down too much and we don't really explore and live life. You made a great comment how you have a lot to give. You have so much more to give, and you don't want to just go out and why do you want to retire when you still have so much life ahead of you? So I'm going to work on getting that drum set, because I really want to. I want to record you next time more, and I think it would be a good demo video.
Yeah. So actually, I have my walk on videos got me drumming on stage. So, and it's we dubbed in some great drum music with it, but it shows me drumming, and it is a passion. And listen, you can rent the whole shebang. One of the things I've thought about is with these conferences, that if you polled the audience, you're going to find a guitarist, a singer, and I could whip up a band. We could rehearse, day one that evening, and the next day perform, a handful of songs.
It's like breakfast. It's like breakfast.
You can rent it all.
Bang in the box.
Monitors, you can rent speakers, you can rent a PA, you can rent drums, you can rent guitars, you can rent it all.
Well, the more I talk to you, the more I see we have more in common. So you said something, I love what you said, sail into the sunset. Me and my wife, we actually have a 19-foot Tahoe boat here. We have it, Lake Medina's here, probably about 25 minutes away. And my niece was here yesterday. She goes, hey, because we're all hanging out in the back in the pool, just hanging out. And she's like, well, when are we going to go out to the lake? So I tell you, I used to be a Harley guy for many years. I rode. The thing that stinks about Harleys is that when it's hot, you feel that heat coming up from the motor underneath you in the summertime. The beautiful thing about a boat, when you're riding it, you feel that breeze on your face night and day. And ever since then, I think my Harley has less miles, less wear and tear on my boat. The biggest lie we've been told is this. For me, everybody said the best days of your life is when you buy your boat, and the best day of your life is when you sell your boat. And that was 8 years ago, Alec, and I'm still yet to sell my boat. So whoever said that lie, that limited belief, has never really enjoyed the boat they have. So do you have a boat? Because I know you said sail off to the sunset.
Yeah, so I'm America's guest when it comes to boats, planes, and nice homes on the water somewhere. So I get invited often, and I haven't had the need to buy my own. And to be quite frank, I don't know if I want the stress and the hassle. Because every time I go on someone's boat, there's always a $10,000 problem, and it's like, okay, well, we can't take off yet. We got to fix this or that, or but it's always once you're underway and you're out there in the ocean, and you look around and see nothing. It's such a beautiful thing, and I love it. Whether it's I've always been into sailing and longer deliveries with sailing, but I've switched to the motor because it's get you there faster.
Right. You don't have to wait for that wind gust to come and do that.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Hey, well, if you ever need a wingman, let me know. And it involves a boat. I love the water. I grew up about an hour from here when I was in middle school, San Marcos, and they have a San Marcos River. So in the summer, there was nothing to do when I was like in middle school, 6th, 7th grade. So they would call us a river rats because we were always at the river jumping off the trees. And man, I'd rather swim in salt water, river water, lake water than the pool, to be honest with you. but unfortunately we can't go there every weekend. So man, if you ever need anybody to be out there in the water,
Listen, I love it. And I'll go back to when I was a young kid. There was a cable company that was the back of a cable company was this great river. And they used to have those massive spools of wire, and they used to come in two basically big things of styrofoam, and they were inside, right? And then when they took them apart, you flip them over like you have an instant boat. It's you have space inside, and it's styrofoam that floated. So we used to take broomsticks, and then we'd take sheets, and we'd make sails, and we'd convince them to give us those the styrofoam casing, and we go upriver. We would sail down the river, which the sail didn't do much, but it looked good. And we would just go down the river, for like a mile or two, and then lug the things back up the river and do it again. And so, ever since I was a little kid, and enjoying that moment, I said, I just had an affinity to want to be on the water, and pick that up, as soon as I could once I settled in Boston after college.
Man. Well, it's hard to believe we're coming up on an hour already here, Mr. Stern and Alec. Thank you so much for spending time with us. But I really want to, first of all, thank you. But I want you to give us, if you don't mind, just some words of wisdom. And it doesn't have to be business-wise, just life guidance, whatever comes to your heart. And I'll just share with the audience just some words of wisdom, because I believe that we can all change our lives through one quote or one saying. And I really want somebody to get this from you and just share us some words of wisdom. And like I said, just speak from your heart right now and give us a couple of words that can really just inspire and motivate us.
Yeah, so I live by a phrase that I've used for a very long time, which is accomplishments are something to build on, not rest on. And so in life, whether it's personal or professional, we achieve things, and we accept that as like we've hit the top, or we've hit that moment of success. And I just think, if we push ourselves, that we can accomplish a lot more. And so when you hit one of those, you're at the top of a plateau. And how do you break through that to go to the next plateau? And that's true in life. There's everything is work. We have to put work in. We get in what we put in, and we get out what we put in. And so you want to be able to just think about what are you doing in life today that you can achieve an accomplishment, and then what are you going to do instead of resting on it to build from that.
I love that. Accomplishments are not to rest on, but to build on. Boom! The great Alec Stern. Woo! Man, I'm telling you, I'm going to make a lot of phone calls as soon as we hang up. So if somebody wants to get a hold of Alec Stern, how can they follow you on social media? Or what's a website? How can somebody just get in contact with you and just really get some more golden nuggets from you, Alec?
Yeah, so I can offer something, a gift, if you will, and then I'll tell you where to contact me. If people text the word pillars, all capitalized, PILLARS, pillars, capitalized, to 59925. I have a short workbook that goes through sort of these, sort of pillars to achieving success and stuff that we did in the earlier days to set ourselves apart when there was more that we didn't have than we did. So they can go and get a free gift again at pillars, PILLARS, capitalized, to 59925. And so that's sort of that's the free gift. If you want to just get in touch, that's one way you'll see some stuff there to connect with me. Or if you just want to go to my website, which is Alec, ALEC, Speaks, SPEAKS, AlecSpeaks.com.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to March 5th already, Alec. I wish I don't want to rush through the year. Maybe I do, because it's been a challenging year start for all of us, right? But I can't wait to have you here in San Antonio next year. I'm super excited about that. And thank you so much for spending time with us. And listen to those words of wisdom that he ended with. Accomplishments are not to sit on, but to build on. So don't rest on your accomplishments. Build on those. I love that. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. Till next time, we'll see you next week. This is Daniel Gomez, and thank you so much for tuning into our show today. We'd love your feedback. Please drop us a comment, and thank you for leaving us a review. Don't forget to subscribe to our show and share this episode with a friend. And my free gift for listening to our show today is a copy of my best-selling book, You Were Born to Fly. To get your free copy, go to DanielGomezInspires.com and get your copy today. That's DanielGomezInspires.com. And to elevate your life and business even more, follow me on social media at Daniel Gomez Inspires on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.